Hello and welcome to my recreation of Kennywood and Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic. My name is Brandon, and for the last 8 or so months, I've been recreating Kennywood in one of my favorite games, Rollercoaster Tycoon. All of this was done on my iPhone, so I know some things would look a little bit better if I had used OpenRCT2 with the different options and expanded features of that game, but just for convenience sake, it was easier to do it from my phone. I think it turned out pretty well, so we're going to get started. I'll show you all the good, the bad, and the ugly of this recreation. So first off, we have the parking lot area. So we can see there's like a bus section, some parking, and then our entrance. The entrance plaza doesn't look exactly like how it does in real life, but still pretty similar. Has the paths that go down under the road. Wrong button. So you can see the path goes down to get into the park. And you're probably also noticing all of these people standing, wandering up on the road. The reason for that is because when I was about 10% finished with the park, I realized that it was not big enough, so I had to re-edit the scenario and make the park bigger. When I did that, I had a guest start point from the scenario editor on this road here, and didn't realize until I got well into this second attempt at making the park that all these people were getting stuck here, and I couldn't go back and change it. So all of those people are just going to be stuck there, wandering forever. Now this park is a mashup of old and new Kennywood with the rides and different sections of the park. So you'll see here I chose to include the Turnpike rather than the Skyrocket. It's a classic ride, missed by many, and just wanted to go with that, kind of a throwback to my childhood. Over here we have just some general pavilion areas, some maintenance buildings, and at the beginning of the park we have the Candy Kaleidoscope, renamed to Candy Crazy just because of the text limit. Kaleidoscope was too long to put on a sign, so that explains that. You can see the different shops that I have inside of there. One thing I will say is I am not an influencer, a content creator, a video creator, video editor, nothing like that. So I'm just an average guy that made Kennywood. I'm taking this on a screen recording on my phone. It's not going to be edited or anything. So if I sound like an idiot, that's why. But here is the old mill. You can see there I included some different scenery inside, so like some different scenes to ride through. We have the old school, old mill, like cemetery, graveyard, courtyard section in the middle of the ride there. So throwing it back to my favorite version of this ride. There's the classic windmill and Kennywood sign. One thing you'll notice in this park is some things are meant to be more diagonal with the paths, or some paths that are supposed to be diagonal, and just because of the limitations of the game, I was not able to do that, so just had to make some concessions with the way things are laid out. We have our bathrooms and our old penny arcade building. And of course we have the jackrabbits. So let's take a look. I'm gonna take you through all of the roller coasters here so you can see them. And we're gonna do it a little bit quickly because I already did one take of this video and it was like 35 minutes long, and don't want it to be super long. So like on the lift hills and stuff, we're going to speed it up a little bit. Now you may also notice I keep getting notifications that my rides are breaking down. That's because my park is 67 in-game years old, and if you're familiar with this game, as things get older, they break down pretty frequently. I'm not intending for this to be like a super functional, well-operating park. It's just meant to be kind of an art piece and a tribute to my home park of Kennywood. Just trying to make it look good, might not actually run super well. Here we have our paddle boats and the food concession stand area. Literally everything is breaking down. Next up is the racer. So let's take a look here. I'm going to speed it up so we can see from the beginning. So this is the first and only Mobius loop roller coaster that I've ever created in the game. It was a little bit challenging, but we made it work. Of course, we had to include the "Don't Stand Up" sign there. Again, not 100% accurate to real life, but we got as close as we could. There you go, that is the racer. By the racer, you'll see I have the Sky Coaster. It's not an actual ride, but I thought it looked pretty cool. It's still there at Kennywood today, even though it's not operating, so I wanted to throw that in there. Next, we have Steelers Country, and of course, the Steel Curtain. Not a ton of people in this area. If you're familiar with the game, you know that the newer attractions in the park tend to have the most traffic. So I think everybody's over trying to ride the Phantom right now, since that's what I created most recently. So the Steel Curtain, couple things. One, there are only 8 inversions rather than 9. So even though there are 9 inversions in real life, the last inversion of the ride just there really wasn't any option to create an inversion that was similar in the game. So I just made it like a helix. So there's only 8 inversions in this. You may have also noticed there was a launch section, which we know the Steel Curtain does not have any launches, but that was just to keep it up to as close to the real life speed as possible. I did the same on the Phantom. I know they don't have launches in real life, but just a sacrifice that had to be made. So here is the gift shop and that building in Steelers Country. We have the End Zone Cafe. Coming out of Steeler Country is our bathroom and the funnel cake shop. Over here we have a lot of different pavilions. Most of them are not accessible because I don't need a bunch of peeps getting stuck in there, getting lost, so just for decoration. Here is the Aero 360. Next to that, we have Rogue Barbecue and the fountain next to the Pizza Warehouse, as well as the ice cream shop. Now, before we move into Kittyland, I just want to go across the way here, across this bridge. This section ended up being a lot larger than it is in real life. Again, just the way the spacing worked out on the game. So over here we have what is close enough to the kangaroo and the paratrooper. We have the Carousel Burger restaurant. I think that's what it's called now. It used to be Johnny Rockets, so we have that there. Of course, our merry-go-round. Coming down here, we have our garden stage. And let's take a look at Kittyland. So these rides are not exactly the same as what is in Kittyland, but I just wanted to put things in similar locations to where they are in real life. Just make the rides as close as possible. Like I said, there are some limitations for what's available in this game, so we have the little Phantom. The ride is super rough. This is not what's actually there. This is just like a helicopter ride. I put this because in real life there's a miniature turtle ride there, and the big turtle ride was hard enough to make because you have to use a roller coaster to build something like that, and there just wasn't enough space here, so I just decided to put this helicopter ride instead. We have our crazy trolley and some additional rides. Moving on to the auto race, which is broken down because everything is broken down right now. So had some fun building this one. Layout pretty similar to real life. Our train. With the train, I tried to kind of do a tribute to the old version of the train from when I was a little kid. There used to be a tunnel that you would drive through, which I have here, and I remember them having like different scenes and like actual constructed sets of like some like past things from Pittsburgh. So that's what I tried to do here. Just did like kind of like a cowboy Indian type theme with some different sections here. A Wild West town, and I kind of remember there being stuff about like the French Indian War, because that happened around Kennywood like hundreds of years ago. So I put this little like old school fort in there, which I think looks pretty cool. I had a lot of fun building the train because I couldn't be super creative with this park because I was trying to make it as close to real life as possible. So this allowed me to be a little creative and try to make things a little more unique. So moving into the middle section, Kennywood used to have a 3-point shootout basketball game, so we put that there. This is another area that's just like way bigger than it is in real life. I did the old kind of plaza section there. We have our Raging Rapids. So this one was a challenge, getting it right. There was a walkthrough or a ride-on video that I watched that helped me a lot with this. It was actually a 360 video that helped a lot with getting all the angles of the scenery and stuff. But yeah, this one took a while to complete. So try to make it as accurate as possible, just like everything in the park. It's not perfect, but I'm happy with how it turned out. All right, next up, we'll go back to this middle part where we can see our pagoda and the Parkside Cafe. Apologize for the rain, it's making it a little darker and harder to see. Let's just do this. All right, we have our midway. So here, you can see I like put some games in. Just gonna delete this stuff so you can see it. So yeah, we have like some various games and things. And next to this, we have the Gold Rusher. So Gold Rusher was one of my favorite rides as a kid. Loved that ride, and I was so pumped to recreate it here because I really do miss it. Before doing this park, I never knew that it actually goes into the Midway building next to it. But let's take a look here and just kind of show you what I did with some of this scenery. So I'm not going to get rid of all of this, but just so you can see a little bit of like what I did. I guess I'm gonna get rid of most of it. So yeah, you can see like there's different scenes and stuff inside of here that the cars go by. Lots of different stuff. So I even included the classic spider. I don't know why that keeps happening. The classic spider scene, where there's like, I actually put in the spider that this one right here is above the track. So like that one, if you remember, if you've ever ridden it, there's a spider that drops down onto you from the top. So that was pretty cool to recreate that. Also there's like a little water fountain in here and stuff. So yeah, had a lot of fun with this one. Just goes to show like how much stuff you can actually put in this game if you're creative. There's our bathrooms. Some additional games, so like even down here we have like cat rack. I don't know, throw a ball in a can. I don't know, whatever. Different Midway games. Parkside Cafe, I did put a lot of different stuff in there. And of course, the newer Jeter's Pub area in the middle. Here is the Thunderbolt. So let's see if this is even up and running. Yep. I'll take a look here. Get my, there we go. So I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. This one looks pretty good. We're gonna speed up a little bit. Thunderbolt. So really happy with the way that one looks. This is when I was doing all this stuff, things were still going well. You'll see when I get to Lost Kennywood how it kind of becomes unraveled a bit. Here we have the potato patch. Some notifications. The corn dog station. You'll see all these people. I'm pretty sure they're trying to get to the Phantom's Revenge and they're just lost. We have our turtle, which is just a looping roller coaster that goes around and up some hills. Here is Noah's Ark, which actually is just a fun house underground, and then I just put a bunch of scenery over it. So that was pretty fun to recreate. Our entrance to Lost Kennywood. Yes, I know the Phantom does not come over that far in real life. We'll talk about that here in a moment. We have our guest service center, hydration station. Over here is the King Kahuna, which I actually never got to ride growing up. Wish I would have, because it wasn't at Kennywood for very long. The volcano, park offices. Magic carpet over here. So I went with that instead of the Cosmic Chaos, just because that design was in the game. We have our fountain. Grand Prix, which is just bumper cars. Baron Curve. Another just emerging roller coaster. This is something where I can get to that. We have our gift shop. Our 4D theater. Here's our pirate ship. Definitely a lot of fun making that one. And it just broke down. Everything breaks down. Here I made like a little basketball game. Again, you can't play it, or the peeps can't play it, but it just looks pretty cool. I just did like a white wall piece and did a small pipe section and made it orange for the hoop. And then some of that pirate rigging for the net. Music Express, I'm not super thrilled with how that looks. It's just a twist ride. It's like a spider twist ride inside of there. If anybody wants to play this file, just leave me a comment down below or respond in that Facebook group, Rollercoaster Tycoon Gamers Facebook group. If you want to try and make this look a little bit better, be my guest, because I could not figure out how to make it look good. All right, don't think I missed anything down here, so let's get into Lost Kennywood. We're going to come back to the Phantom. Here's the swing shot. Now, I know the swing shot is not a launched freefall in real life, but there was nothing similar other than like maybe another pirate ship. So I just made a launched freefall. The guests, they did love it until some new rides opened. So yeah, I know that is not actually the swing shot. Same with the wave swinger. I just did a double deck carousel. I know in Open RCT 2 they have wave swinger models, but for what I have on my phone, that's as close as we're gonna get. Small fries and a little gift shop. Our water fountain with the little pond area. This is kind of where things got a little messy because I was running out of room. In Lost Kennywood, there is another like concession building there before this game's building. I just had to get rid of it just to make room for everything. Here's our Pittsburgh Plunge. Currently broken down, I think. This is supposed to be the whip. Go-karts, close as I can get there. Here is the Exterminator. So this one was pretty fun to make too. Let's take a look at that. My rides are broken down now. Whoa. So with the Exterminator, I did kind of separate it into different rooms and put some different scenery inside, just like how it is in real life. But because I hid the scenery for now, you can't see that. It has everything. There's no just hide walls option, so you can't really see it. But there is some pretty cool stuff in there as well. If you'd like to kind of dissect that by playing this for yourself, keep an eye out for that file. All right, we're almost through here. Bathrooms by the Exterminator and the Pittsburgh Plunge. I did decide to go with the Pitfall. Again, it's what's available in the game compared to like the Black Widow. I don't know what exactly that ride is called, but nothing like that in the game. And the Pitfall is just classic, so I put that in there. Here we have the Pedro's, another food place. And I think that's about it before we show the Phantom. Now, let me preface by saying I'm not super happy with how this turned out. Just the way the park is laid out, and with this being the last thing to create, things were not lining up properly. And you can even see that in the queue here. Like, it goes up and then it goes over and down and way over and then down and over and down. Like, it's just all over the place. So it just not looking great, but it works. Well, when it's not broken down, it works. And we're gonna create a new mechanic so they can fix it for us. He's going to the kangaroo. Is anybody going to the Phantom? No, he's going to the paratrooper. Oh my goodness. Here's one. Let's see if he'll actually fix it. Wow, this is actually insane. See, if anybody wants to play through this, be my guest. Another person. This is actually crazy. There we go. He's gonna fix it. All right, let's watch this. Our last roller coaster. So you'll see here, like, this hill is not exactly right. It should drop here. It actually goes kind of right first. Launch up the second hill. Down the second hill, it goes into this tunnel here. That was just the best way to That's the last thing I created on this game. Wow, things are breaking down like crazy now. But yeah, so that is everything. Overall, I'm very happy with how it turned out. There was just some stuff in Lost Kennywood and like some spacing over here that wasn't ideal, but overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I wanted to do this like ever since I was a kid playing Rollercoaster Tycoon, and I'm glad I finally got to do it. When I first started, when I was a young kid, I got like 10 minutes in and was like, this is impossible. I'm never going to do this. So I'm really happy I got to kind of recreate everything again. One last thing I'll show you, if you'll notice down here, when I had to rebuild the scenario and make it bigger, some things got messed up. I was originally going to try to put the Monongahela River and some like train tracks and stuff down here, and like it looks cool. It's a little far from the park, but then down here there's nothing. Whenever I expanded the size of the park, I forgot to put scenery in down here, so there's nothing down there, but that's okay. You know, this up here is what matters. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you would like the file sent to you, drop a comment and I'd be happy to send it to you through there. If you would like to join the Rollercoaster Tycoon Gamers Facebook group, that's where I've been posting all my updates. You can leave a comment there and I'll send you the file. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks again.